Well, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuffs and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, I have many stuffs and things to talk about, including some videos that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. I got a new camera lens for the Canon R6, which I'm using to record this video with. Not using the new lens to record the video with, but I'll show that to you in a minute. I want to talk a little bit about your responses to last week's videos, the Peter's Pipes video and last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. I'm going to talk about how very wrong I was about Samuel Gawith Hansom Flake and how it may show that my opinion about aromatic blends could be changing. And then, of course, we will end with hashtag #AskStuffandThings with your questions. So let's get into this. Okay, before we get into the upcoming videos, I just wanted to wish a very happy birthday to my fiance, Diamond. It is her birthday today as I'm recording this. We're gonna go out and celebrate. We actually get to go out tonight and celebrate to a restaurant. It's been a very, very, very long time since we've done that. So I just wanted to say happy birthday. I also wanted to show you, if you remember the wonderful Klumpen Klogen ad that was causing all sorts of focus issues. That was a gift that my fiance gave me for my birthday. She'd also given me something else really cool, which I might use to replace this empty space that we have back there now. I have to move things around a little bit. But many of you may know, if you watch Stuff and Things Plays, that I did a very long series on the game Breath of the Wild. And one of my favorite games ever. And she got me this cool hand-drawn version, I don't know if this is gonna show up, a hand-drawn version of the Breath of the Wild map. So I'm actually going to get this framed and put that up on the wall behind me. Hopefully the camera won't want to focus on that. Anyway, I just thought that was cool and I wanted to show it to you. Now, upcoming videos. We are going to be doing a full review of Hansom Flake. I did the first impressions video a couple weeks ago, and the first impressions were sort of meh, not that excited about it. And because it's sort of a crossover blend or a mild aromatic, I didn't think I would like it very much, so I thought I'm not going to do a full review. But things have changed a little bit. And I mentioned we're going to talk about how I was wrong about Hansom Flake, so we're going to get into that later. But you can expect a full review of this posting on Wednesday of this coming week. We also have the Hitman 2 series continuing on Stuff and Things Plays. I'm really enjoying this game. I hope you guys are watching and that you're enjoying it as well. Soon, I will be ready to announce the next game that we will be playing on Stuff and Things Plays, so stay tuned for that as well. Next. I have mentioned and I have shown you that I am interested in nature photography. Ever since I got the Canon R6, I've been wanting to try to take pictures of birds, of wildlife, various things that would require you to have a little bit of reach in focal length with your lens. I can't get close enough to a lot of these subjects with the 24-105 lens that I have on my camera right now. And so I've wanted to get a super telephoto lens ever since I got the camera. The problem with that is that they're really expensive and they're also gigantic. So for instance, a 600mm Canon lens, they don't make, do they have one in the L series? The L series is their kind of higher end series. I don't think they have one for the RF mount, which is what this camera is, but for their older EF mount, they had a 600mm lens, which was about this long. I think it was an f4 aperture. Won't get in too crazily into all that. But it was around $13,000 and about this long and about this big around. It's huge and hugely expensive and obviously just way out of my league. For someone who's a hobbyist and who does this for fun, I'm not a professional wildlife photographer, obviously. So I was trying to see what my options were for a super telephoto lens that wasn't going to be ridiculously expensive and unwieldy. And then Canon came out, I mean, this happened a while back. Canon came out with some lenses for the RF mount that are fixed aperture f11 lenses, which means it's a fairly narrow aperture, which also means you need a pretty good amount of light. They're not great in low light conditions. But look at this lens. This is My Canon RF, I actually have the lens hood on here right now, so let me take that off so you can see the actual lens. This is a 600mm telephoto lens. Is that crazy or is that crazy? Those of you who are not into cameras won't realize, I guess, how ridiculously compact this is. But for a 600mm lens, it is insane. You actually have to unlock it, extend the barrel, and then lock it again in order to get it to shooting mode. But even that's just tiny. I mean, it looks huge, but it's tiny. And it's really exciting because it has image stabilization in here. It works really well with the autofocus, for the animal eye autofocus in the Canon R6. And even though it is that fixed 11 aperture, which would seem like a big handicap, and it kind of is in low light situations, obviously, or if it's a super overcast day. But with the settings on the R6, the fact that it's a mirrorless camera, it does really good in high ISO applications, I guess. You don't have to worry as much about noise as you might have to worry about on a DSLR camera, so graininess in an image. I've taken some shots with this so far, and I'm pretty excited about what I've been able to do. It's a lot more difficult than I thought, because with the 600mm focal length, it's kind of hard to keep the subject in frame and everything. I have to sort of practice with it. But it's really cool, and I'm really looking forward to taking some more pictures with this. And I'd like to do some videos where I take this out and we try to capture some wildlife. Let me put the lens hood on here and get the full effect. Actually, I guess I'll extend it again. That's the lens. It looks kind of intimidating, it looks kind of big, but believe me, for a 600mm lens, this is tiny. And it is a fraction of the cost of those giant, $13,000 lenses that you used to have to deal with. So very cool. It has a little tripod mount on there, but it's actually light enough. It's probably about the same weight, maybe slightly lighter than my 24-105 that I have on the camera right now. So you can definitely handhold this. You don't need a tripod, and it has image stabilization. So I'm pretty excited. I want to take some pictures with this. I want to show you some stuff with this. So coming up soon, I'm not sure exactly when, we will maybe try to take a little excursion, or go on a little excursion where we try to photograph some wildlife. I still want to find those river otters, the sea otters. There are always crows to be photographing, and other little birds and bits of wildlife around the area. So stay tuned for that. Now, last week I posted that video where I showed you 3 pipes that my good friend Peter Straub had sent to me. And I just wanted to mention again, or I just wanted to thank Peter again for his generosity. That was such an amazing gift, and those pipes are absolutely fantastic. And the response I got from that video was really cool as well. Just people expressing to Peter their thanks for his generosity as well, them kind of vicariously enjoying the pipes through me. And I know that Peter was really happy to see that, to see how much I was enjoying those videos. So it was really cool to get the opportunity to make that video and post that last week. If you haven't seen it yet, you definitely should, because they are amazing pipes. They're very cool. 2 Castellos, and then a handmade Mark Tinsky. It was the Christmas pipe from 2007, sort of a sandblast calabash shape. Very cool. You should definitely check that out. And thank you for all the really kind responses and the nice, kind words you gave to Peter as well. We also had some responses from the Sunday Stuff and Things video. I knew that if I mentioned anything about the current public health crisis, that I would get some people angry. And I just want to reiterate what I said in that video. I was not trying to make any sort of statement about the necessity or efficacy of mask mandates or lockdowns. The only point I was trying to make is that it's been kind of surreal that we have all gotten so used to it, used to wearing masks, used to being in lockdown. And that's all I was trying to say. I gave the example of, over a year ago, if you had walked into a store and put a bandana over your face, people would freak out and call the police. And now we've gotten so used to that. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of surreal. That's all I was trying to say, and I appreciate people letting me know how everyone is doing out there. A lot of people were giving me updates on their family situations, their job situations, how things are going for them. So hopefully there's a light at the end of this tunnel, and we're getting there. I think we're getting there pretty soon. All right, we've been hinting around about this throughout the episode. Samuel Gawith, Hansom Flake. You now know that there will be a full review of this blend coming this week. How do I even begin? When I did this first impression, I went into it sort of prejudiced, thinking this has added flavoring, this has added topping, I'm not going to like it. Then I did the first impressions video, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't seem to be super enthusiastic about it, and I figured, that's it. But as the weeks wore on, I guess 2 weeks since I did that first impressions video, I just kept cracking the tin open because the tin was already open. I figured I might as well finish it. And very slowly and very surely, I discovered that I liked it. And I liked it quite a bit. And this is sort of scary. It's kind of a weird new world that I've delved into now, because I can't really think of any blend that I've ever reviewed or ever tried that had a identifiable top note and added flavoring that I liked. I'm sure some of you may be able to remember some review out there that maybe had some mild flavoring and I actually liked the blend, but for me, it's hard for me to think of any. This has wormed its way into being a blend I really enjoy. In fact, I just recorded the review of it, and typically I do the cutaway where I show you the tin and I show you the blend in the tin and talk about the cut and everything. There was so little of this left that I couldn't even do that. I just have a couple little dregs in here. I don't even know if you can hear those shaking around. I don't know what this means. Does this mean that I could eventually enjoy aromatic blends? I don't know. But I just wanted to say, I was wrong about Hansom Flake. And I may be wrong about my, I guess, adamant rejection of any blend that has added flavoring. We're gonna have to think about this. We're gonna have to think about this long and hard. I'm gonna have to ask myself serious, difficult questions about my preferences as far as pipe blends go. So I don't know. You should definitely watch this review coming up on Wednesday of Samuel Gawith, Hansom Flake. It kind of rocked my world a little bit. All right, gang, it's that time of the show where I answer questions from you in hashtag #AskStuffandThings. If you have a question you would like to ask me, you can tweet at @SATBradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings. You can also go via YouTube comments. I try to go through those comments and pick out questions that are useful for me to answer. Also, if you are a Patreon supporter, you can ask me questions there. And yeah, do that, please. I really appreciate the questions. They're always very fun and useful for the episodes. We have a question via Twitter from GV Rise. At GV Rise, GV says, "Just found your YouTube channel. New to the pipe, and I also live in Washington, and was wondering if you knew a store I could get some of the teas that you have reviewed. So far, all I can find for choices is Tinderbox in Tacoma, but none of their teas have reviews." You know, GV, this is something that has gotten worse over the last few years. When I first started this channel, there were 2 fairly good brick and mortar stores in my town. There are none now. They're all gone. And as far as the rest of Washington goes, I don't know. I'm sure there's something in Seattle. I would assume there has to be something in Seattle, but I don't know of any sort of major, well-known and well-regarded brick and mortar stores in this state, and that makes it difficult because you can't have it shipped to Washington as well. It's tough. I'm sorry, GV. If anyone knows of any really good stores, let GV know in the comments below. Next, from Robert Moore at PHXPilot83. Robert says, "Have you tried C&D The Beast? I know you're a fan of Perique, and this blend boasts over 50% of it. If you were unable to procure a tin, I would be more than happy to send one your way and have you review it. Cheers, Robert." Well, thanks for the offer, Robert. I have heard of C&D The Beast, and it's something that I have contemplated reviewing, and I may get my hands on some. I included this question because a lot of people ask me to review a specific blend, and the fact that Robert offered to send one to me. People have done that occasionally. They'll send something to my P.O. box, but you don't have to do that. I really appreciate the gesture, but I just feel weird. I mean, that's part of what I do, is procuring blends for review for the channel. So you don't have to worry about that, Robert, but I will definitely keep C&D the Beast in mind. It's quite interesting. It sounds like something that I might enjoy. Next, via YouTube at Don Ovon, or Don Ovon from YouTube, says, "How tall are you, and what do you do for exercise?" I guess that makes sense that people might want to know, because I'm always sitting down all the time. I am 6 foot 2 inches, which is, I had to write this down, 1.8796 meters. So tall-ish. And as far as exercise, I have a very physically demanding job, so I'm pretty much moving all day long for 8 hours a day. And then in addition to that, I do push-ups, I do crunches, I do dumbbell stuff, medicine ball stuff, you know, a variety of things. I try to work out. In addition to the physical activity I do during the week, I try to work out 3 to 4 days a week, which I haven't been great with recently, but that's typically what I do. Thank you for the question, Don Ovon. Next, from Silvio Stefan. Now, this is something that has come up a bit, and I think I've addressed it before, but I think I need to address it again. Silvio Stefan was commenting on the Peter's Pipes video that I posted last week, and Silvio says, "At least show us the entire pipe, man. The mouthpiece is half of the pipe. Why someone like you have good pipes? Why does someone like you have good pipes? You put a condom where the craftsmanship is more visible and important." So thank you for the question, Silvio. I get this a lot. People don't like the fact that I put rubber bits on the end of my pipe stems, or some people don't like that. And I would have to ask, first of all, why does anyone care what someone else does with their pipe? Number two, especially on a Castello pipe, which was, I think, all the pipes I was showing on the Peter's Pipe video, the Tinsky and the 2 Castellos, they have acrylic stems, and it hurts my teeth when I put an acrylic stem in my mouth, and if I have to clench it, it hurts, and I don't like how it feels, so I put a rubber pipe bit on all my pipes, and on the ones with vulcanite stems, it still hurts, not as much as the acrylic ones, and I also just don't want to get tooth marks all over my pipes. There you go. I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal, but people seem to ask that question a lot. There are certain things that people think of as sort of sacrilegious, I guess, and a finely carved vulcanite stem, I guess I can sort of see the opinion that you shouldn't cover that up, but I like to do it. If you don't like to do it, you don't have to do it. But thank you for watching, and thank you for the question, and thank all of you for watching. Please send in more questions. I know some of you don't like using Twitter, and I don't blame you, but if you leave questions in comments on YouTube videos, I try to get to those too, so I really appreciate your comments and questions, and I really like to try to answer your questions every week in hashtag #AskStuffandThings. But now, gang, it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. It is very, very, very generous of you guys to support the channels on Patreon. It helps a lot. It helps me get blends for review. It helps me to get equipment that we can use to produce these videos. YouTube does not like me to monetize videos that have pipe-related content, so your support helps a lot. And every week, we like to thank the people who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Cody Striegler, Glenn, Gus, Jason Buckner, Jen Oside, John Leone, Krisztian Kovacs, Joshua Jackson, Gloria Phillips, MDoftheNorth, Ryan McFadin, Matt Marino. Thank you all so much for your support, and of course, we want to thank the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub, Bob Magee, and David Gaudreau. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching, for liking, subscribing, sharing, all the good stuff that you do every single week. Please stay tuned this week for the review of Samuel Gawith, Hansom Flake. That will be posting on Wednesday, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2 p.m. Yes, 2 p.m. Pacific time. The Hitman 2 series is continuing, and stay tuned for a new game, which will be cropping up on that channel soon. But gang, I think that's it. I have to go celebrate my fiance's birthday. I've been looking forward to that for a good long time. Until next time, until we meet again, I've been a good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday. Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.